Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. Sangham Sharanam Gacchami.
Dumba Jumden de Java da Jumba Yandawa Zobe Sanje Rigba da Jabzo Demba Devara Shiva Jigden Kimba Jebu Dube Kalu Jurva Lana Meva Lada Menamje Dumba Sanje Jumden de Benjava Shaja Tuba La Chaze Lo Chudo Jabzo Chewo Dumba Jumden de Dejen Shiva Tajumba Yandawa Zobe Sanje Rigba da Jauzu Demba Devara Jeba Jigden Jemba Jebu Dube Kalu Jurva Lana Meva Lada Menamje Dumba Sanje Jumden de Pejawa Shaja Tuba La Chazelo Chudo Jauzu Jewo Demba Jumden de Dejen Sheba Tajumba Yandaba Zobe Sanje Rigwa Dan Shabsu Temba Tewara Sheba Jigden Kemba Jibu Dube Galo Jurwa Lana Meba Lada Menamje Tumba Sanje Jumden de Pejawa Shaja Tuba La Chazelo Chudo Jauzu Jewo Sanje Chudan Soje Chonama La Chanju Bado Tane Jauzu Je Tagi Chöche Jibe Sonamanje Jola Penje Sanje Endrovara Sho Sanje Chudan Soje Chonama La Chanju Bado Tane Jauzu Je Tagi Chöche Jibe Sonamanje Jola Penje Sanje Drobara Sho Sanje Chodan Soje Chonama La Chanju Pado Tane Jauso Je Dagi Cheche Jebe Sonama Je Drola Penji Sanje Drobara Sho Good morning and Happy New Year. I hope you are all keeping well. So first of all, I would like to thank those who have sent in your response to the quiz, and it is very inspiring that from your responses, I can tell that you all are trying your best to integrate what you have learned in class in your daily life. And that is the main purpose. And I also hope that those who have not sent in your responses, but at least you have reviewed the material that is available on the website and have given some thoughts. Because this exercise, the whole purpose of this exercise is to encourage you to review the topics that we have discussed in the last semester, and then to contemplate on those topics, those things that we have discussed in the last semester, how relevant these are in our lives. Sometimes what happens is we may diligently attend the classes. We may not miss even one classes, but we fail to contemplate, do a bit of a reflection. If we fail to do that, what would happen is that whatever we have learned, first of all, it will be intellectual knowledge, and then it may not really last long. It may not remain in our brain for that long. Whereas if we have given some thought, some reflection, some contemplation on what we have heard, and then if you have at least contemplate on how this affects my life, what is the relevance, how can I use these things to improve my life, how I can use these to make myself a better person, how I can use these knowledge to help myself in this life as well as to prepare for the future life, then it serves the purpose. I know many of you are very busy, and it is very challenging. That's what happened to me. Let me share a story. When I was doing the bachelor's degree in psychology, I didn't really have time to contemplate or give more deeper contemplation on the knowledge that I have been learning at that time. My intention was to really compare and contrast what Western psychology say and what Buddhist psychology views. But that never happened because there were so many assignments. So it was like always, finishing the assignments, one due date after another due date. So when I decided to do the master's program, I thought, okay, this is my opportunity. I really thought that master's program would be much lighter, and that will enable me to really contemplate, really give deeper analysis of the two views. And I really wanted to see which are the what are the similarities and what are the differences. But I was completely wrong. The first semester or the first quarter, I think I signed up for 3 subjects. And the first subject already gave us, I think, 4 or 5 books to read. And that happened with the other 2 subjects. So there were times where I was awake early, like around like 5, trying to finish reading the what do you call assigned chapters. So what happened was the track I signed up for, there were not many students. So we end up doing individual kind of a class. So I think 3 of us there. Because of that, we have closer interaction. So we were assigned certain chapters to present and then join in the discussions on the others, to those who the chapters that others were assigned. If I were in a bigger class, I could pretend that I have read it all, and I can just keep quiet and nod my head every now and then. I could have easily passed. But when you are with the 2 or 3 students facing the lecturer there, it becomes so obvious if you have not read, because you have nothing really to offer to the discussion. So because of that, I ended up waking early in the morning just to finish the reading so that I will have something to say and join the discussion. So during master's time, also it ended up like that. So because of that, I forget many things that I have actually learned, especially the undergraduate degree. I am pretty sure that if I had enough time to really contemplate on each and every theory, I would be able to remember each and every theory still, now. So that's why what I'm saying is it is important not to just listen and then close the book and that's it. It is important to really give some thoughts on what you have heard. And most importantly, it is to find the relevance. Otherwise, it would be a waste of time. If you don't see any relevance in your life, if you don't see anything to apply in your life, and especially when we are discussing on the topic of Bodhisattva vows and Bodhichitta practice, definitely it will be relevant. Definitely there are a lot of things that we can apply in our social life. So if you don't find anything relevant, if you don't find anything to apply, that means you are lacking this reflection part. So I really hope that those who have not sent in your responses, but at least you have reviewed the classes, reviewed the topics that we have discussed, and have contemplated on those topics. So that's my main purpose for giving you the quiz. It was not meant to take away your holiday, your break. Anyway, if you have done it so, that's great. If you haven't done it because of your time and all this, this is the time. We are now at the beginning of a new year, 2021. So this is the time where you can resolve to do so. So I always tell people that time, when we say I have no time, it's not true. You have time, but whether you have prioritized, which one you have prioritized. Whether you have time for contemplation or for practice, Dharma practice or not, is completely dependent on whether you have prioritized Dharma practice as one of the things that you would want to do. I don't know whether I told in this class or not. I have told this in the Tibetan class. In India, there are these soap, what you call those TV shows, TV serials. Normally it is in the evening. I don't know, maybe it's 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something. So one time there was a TV serial called Kasoti. It has become so popular all over India, even amongst Tibetan community, that when this serial comes on, people just drop everything. Let's say if you are cooking, if you are in the middle of your cooking, and if somebody shouts at you to say that, oh, now Kasoti is on, people drop everything and rush to the living room or rush to where the TV is. So this shows that you have prioritized that TV show as the most important. So you are willing to drop whatever you are in the middle of doing. So what I'm saying is, if you prioritize Dharma practice, then definitely you will get time, because you will compensate, you will sacrifice some other things. When it comes to food and sleep, we always have time. So likewise, if we make time, we will have time. So this is now the new year. Many people make resolution. So you can make a resolution. I will spend certain amount of time. As I mentioned in my posting on the website, that when we set up a resolution or a goal, it is better to set up something specific. If you say something like in an abstract form, like, oh, I will try my best, then it's really abstract, nothing really specific. So you may not achieve that. You may not be successful. So we must be very specific with our goals. Okay, from this year onward, I will spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes doing meditation. Or I will spend 15 minutes going through the text, reading the text. Or I will spend 5 minutes contemplating on what I have listened to. We can say, some people say, oh, I will try to, not to engage in negativities. That's really broad. It is very difficult. But if you are very specific, then you are more likely to achieve your goal. So today is the first class. So first of all, it is very important to set up a good motivation. Why we are here, it is not for material gain. There's nothing to gain materially from listening to this. And also nobody, I'm sure, is hoping to become a great scholar and become famous. Why we are here is really we wanted to achieve happiness. And most importantly, we really wanted to ensure a good future life. And of course, some of you want to achieve liberation, and everybody wants to achieve enlightenment. As we have discussed earlier, the most powerful motivation is to do with the Bodhichitta, which is whatever we are doing, it is really to benefit sentient beings. It is really to achieve enlightenment so that we can help sentient beings. Whatever we are doing, it is to become a cause to achieve enlightenment. So here, when we listen to these talks, you can set a motivation that I need to achieve. I need to first liberate sentient beings. I can see, just like myself, other sentient beings are undergoing so much suffering. So I wanted to help them. I wanted to bring them to liberation, to a state where there is no more suffering. But I cannot do at the moment. In order to help sentient beings, I need to first achieve enlightenment. So enlightenment we need to practice. In order to practice, we need to understand the paths and how to meditate, how to practice. So I am going to listen to this teaching so that I can achieve enlightenment in order to help sentient beings. So it is very important from the beginning of this session to set a bodhicitta mindset. And then whatever time we spend here, it becomes a Mahayana practice. The results, the merits will be so powerful. So let's get that right. Let's set a good motivation and then we begin. So today I decided for this semester, I decided to go through the Shantideva's Bodhicaryavatara, the chapter 4, which is about conscientiousness. So this, if we divide the Shantideva's text, the 9 chapters, we can divide into three main sections. So the prayer that we normally recite, may the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise, and then may that which has arisen not diminish, and then may those who have already generated increase more and more. So the first 3 chapters are the means to cultivate the bodhicitta that has not arisen in us. And then the subsequent 3 chapters are means to help us sustain, maintain the bodhicitta that we have already developed. So from that chapter, the first one is the conscientiousness. Conscientiousness. So this follows from what we have done in the last semester. The last semester, we began by reviewing or reflecting on the benefits of bodhicitta. And then we reviewed the Bodhisattva commitments, the 18 major transgressions, and the 46 secondary misdeeds. After reviewing that, we took the Bodhisattva vows. And we ended with the prayer that from now on, by every means possible, I will apply myself to actions that in accord with this family. Never will I sully this flawless and pure family. So upon taking the Bodhisattva vows, we have pledged that we will not waver from the Bodhisattva practices. We have made the promise that we will keep the vows intact and then work towards the path that will eventually lead us to Buddhahood. So in order to keep our promise, this conscientiousness is the key to do so. So first here says, just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakening mind has been born within me. First we need to really realize how precious what we are able to develop, and how fortunate we are to have the opportunity to generate or to develop the bodhicitta or to take the bodhisattva vows in our case. So he said, just like a blind man, if a blind man, a poor blind man who is struggling with the basic needs, if he stumbled upon a jewel, imagine how happy and fortunate he would feel. So likewise, by some coincidence, here the word is coincidence. It's like if we really examine our action, there is no way we could have received, or we could have developed bodhicitta, or we could have taken bodhisattva vows. Because our actions, the way we think, the way we do, the way we behave, it actually warrants something else. But for some odd reason, we are able to. First of all, we are able to obtain this human rebirth. Not only that, we were able to meet Buddha Dharma. Among Buddha Dharma, we are able to meet Mahayana Buddha Dharma. And then we were able to practice, we were able to attend teachings, and we are able to take the Bodhisattva vows. So it is like unbelievably rare to happen to us, but it has happened. So we need to really treasure that. We need to realize that how fortunate we are. If we have that kind of realization, if we know the value, then we will be able to, let's put it this way, we will try to sustain that. We will try to keep it. Let's say if we find something which is actually it is something very precious, but we didn't know, and if we didn't know the value of that, if we fail to recognize that that is some precious stones, we wouldn't really take care of it. Only when we realize that it is a very precious stones, then we will guard it well, and we will lock it up in some lockers and we will really protect it. If we fail to recognize the value of that stone, then yeah, we will not guard it, we will not protect it. So likewise, if we are able to realize the value of the vow or the bodhicitta that we have generated, then we will really work towards protecting it, guarding it. That's what it means. So after realizing the value, then we need to work towards sustaining it, protecting it. So the best way to protect our vow is through having this conscientiousness. So what is conscientiousness? So here in the sutra it says, Nyomongbe wangdo masong war zundu la nene kewan drupje, sawan namle sim songwe lo shigla chawos. The definition. It is actually guarding one's mind not to wander or engage in negative actions. So always guarding your mind to not to allow all these afflictive emotions to arise within us, and instead to allow all the positive actions to, positive or virtuous mind to arise. Payo ba she chawa di chi shi yin she na doba le nyamba da mendo ba chungwa ra doba ngondo drobe soba lur lemba des. This is that if we don't guard our mind, realizing that that can end us losing what we want and end up with the suffering or pain that we don't want. So it is being careful. So I have here an image here. Is a bar, what do you call the waiter or waitress. When they bring your order on a tray, they have to be very careful, especially when tray is full of what do you call glasses filled with drinks or even hot stuff. How would you carry that? You would carry that with giving your full attention, full concentration, not to spill or not to cause the imbalance so that, all will fall or slip from your tray or hand. So conscientiousness is something like that, which is the mechanism that really keeps us alert. Sometimes they use the term heedfulness, being attentive to what you are doing. So this one we can tell from our own experience that it is really a crucial thing. In everything we do, let's say if we are driving, attentiveness is the key. If you are not attentive, if you are not all the time conscientious of your driving, there is danger of running into an accident, causing an accident. Many of the accidents are caused by what we call the texting. So when you drive and text, your attention is divided. Your full attention is not on the driving. So that's why accidents happen. So when we have that kind of mental state that I have to be very careful not to commit any of the downfalls, any of the misdeeds, not to transgress the vows, not to engage in non-virtue. Always try to cultivate virtue. So when we have all the time that kind of awareness or that kind of what do you call it, heedfulness or carefulness, that's what is called conscientiousness. Pagyu, we call it Pagyu. Tibetan we call it Pagyu, Pagyu Giliwu. So if we now turn to the actual text, the first one is Kewe Segi Tetabur Chanju Semrap Ten Sungne Yewa Mebar Tadu Yang Lable Meda Bebar Chas. Having firmly seized the awakening mind in this way, a conqueror's son must never waver. Always should he exert himself to never stray from this practice. Kewesegi Tetapurus. So, of course, this is a Bodhisattva's practice. So we have taken the Bodhisattva vows, and it is assumed that those who are on the path are all Bodhisattvas. So that's why he calls the conqueror's son, the sons of Buddha. Tetabur Chanju Semrapten Songnes. So after generating Bodhichitta and then taking the Bodhisattva vows, one should not waver from that promise or that pledge, that vow that we have made. So this is like the summary of the whole chapter. And later we will go into detail. So this is like the summary of the whole chapter. Basically that since we have already taken the vows, which is basically saying that I will follow the Bodhisattva steps. The past Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they have taken the vows and then they have pursued the path and they have achieved enlightenment. Likewise, I would do the same. That's what we did. That's what we promised when we took the Bodhisattva vows. So the summary is like, we will not waver, we will never stray from what we have promised, and we will continue pursuing the Bodhisattva vows. We will engage in the Bodhisattva practices. Pabju tsamba kan yimbam kanshi lekbar matagba teni tamje che gyurjang cham tangshe tagbe riks. So now Shantideva is providing the reasons why we should not waver or why we should not sidetrack, why we should not, go against what we have promised. In the case of reckless actions or of deeds not well considered, although a promise may have been made, it is fit to reconsider whether I should do them or not. So Pabju Tsamba, Tibetan word papchunsa, but here is used reckless. So without giving much thought, we just out of the blue, we just decide to do something else. Many of us do that. We wake up in the morning and then, I want to do this thing. I will do this thing. And then there are other cases where we have given some thought, but not really a thorough examination. So in such incidences, in such occasions, it says that although a promise may have been made, it is fit to reconsider. But it is okay in such situations. It is okay to reconsider. It is okay to change our mind. You may have promised to do something else, but because it was really a sudden decision, or you haven't given much thought, so in such situation, it is okay to change your mind. But here it says, Sanje namdan te se sherab chenbyo kang tangshin, tani ki jan ta ba tela shodu chishik yos. But how can I ever withdraw from what has been examined by the great wisdom of the Buddhas and their sons, and even many times by myself? So even though those situations we can change, but here it says that we cannot make changes regarding Bodhisattva path, because this is something that is examined thoroughly by great wisdoms of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Remember, there was earlier Keba Duma Rabung Zeba Yi Teshe Namji Dini Pember 6. So Buddhas have contemplated for eons which is the one that is so beneficial, which is the one that can eliminate all the sufferings, which is the one thing that can provide all the happiness and joy. So after contemplating for eons and eons, Buddhas have come to the conclusion that Bodhichitta, developing Bodhichitta, and pursuing the Bodhisattva path is most beneficial. And Buddha's wisdoms, that's why they said the great wisdoms. Buddha's wisdoms are not like ours. Ours are ordinary wisdom. But Buddha's wisdoms are what we call impeccable, is flawless, unable to make any mistakes. But Buddha's wisdoms have found that Bodhichitta is the best thing for us to pursue. And we have, I think we have discussed this in Shantideva in the, I think chapter 3. It says, it is the elixir of life produced to vanquish death in the world. So Bodhichitta is talking about the benefit. And we have discussed the benefits in the first chapter. So these are not just, Shantideva was not making all those things. Shantideva quotes from sutras and then provides logical reasoning. And this is another one. It is the elixir of the life produced to vanquish death in the world. It is an inexhaustible treasure eliminating the poverty of the world. So through bodhicitta, we will achieve enlightenment where there is no death. So bodhicitta is like the elixir of life produced to vanquish death. And it is an inexhaustible treasure. When you develop bodhicitta, because of this mindset, you will engage in the practice of generosity, which will result in wealth, bountiful of wealth. It is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. The most, what do you call the not corrosive, what do you call that? Anyway, the worst disease we are suffering from is self-cherishing attitude. So when we are able to develop bodhicitta, it will quell that. It will destroy that sickness. It is the tree that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. So I will just read. It is quite, from the word it is, no need to elaborate on this. It is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy state of birth. It is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. So these are all extolling bodhicitta for its benefits. So Buddhas have made these conclusions, and Buddhas have extolled the benefits. And then not only that, and even many times by myself, and we have also, before taking the bodhicitta, we have reviewed the first chapter of Bodhicaryavatara, which is all about the benefits of bodhicitta. So not only Buddhas have examined and found it very beneficial, and then we ourselves have put that into scrutiny, and we have also decided that yes, bodhicitta is the one I want to develop. Bodhicitta is the one that is so beneficial, and Bodhisattva's path is the one that I want to pursue. And that's why we have taken the Bodhisattva vows. So now it says you cannot change your mind. It is different from those trivial decisions. This is a huge decision. Kedi tedar tamche ne leji Drupa maje na simjin teda kunlu be tagi drowa chindar jurus. Now Shantideva is talking about the consequences, the ramifications of sidetracking one's promise. If having made such a promise I do not put into action, then by deceiving every living being, what kind of rebirth shall I take? So sometimes it helps to think about the consequences. Remember why we don't engage in killing or murdering other people. Why many of us do not engage in stealing or even, let's say, robbing a bank? Because we know we understand the consequences, the ramification of such actions. We know that we will be arrested and we will be prosecuted, we will be jailed. So thinking of such ramification, it helps us to deter our action. So likewise here, Shantideva is using that logic. So he said, if having made such a promise, if I do not put into action, then that becomes like deceiving every living being. Because now you are abandoning them. You are forsaking sentient beings. But first, what we have pledged, what we have promised is that I will work for your benefit. I will invite, remember that Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at temporary and ultimate delight. May God, asuras, and all be joyful. So when we took Bodhisattva vows, the prayer that we use, it says that I will invite, upon developing bodhicitta, I will invite all sentient beings as my guests. And here there's another stanza saying, today in the presence of all the protectors, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, especially when we took the Bodhisattva vow, we took the Bodhisattva vow in front of Buddha. We imagine Buddha being present in front of us. And then we say, I invite the world to be guests, all sentient beings, from insects to animals, to pretas, to hell beings, to all sentient beings. And we have given our word. We normally say that I give my word. So we have given our word to them that, I will offer you temporary happiness, and then, of course, the ultimate happiness, which is I will lead you to Buddhahood. That's what we have promised. So that's why he's saying, then by deceiving every living being. So if we do not respect what we have promised, then it is deceiving every living being. So it says, what kind of rebirth shall I take? So rebirth will be lower realms. There is no other ways. So sometimes I know that people find it a bit difficult when every now and then there is this talk about hell beings and all that. You will be born in hell. But don't take hell being as some another planet or some another realm. Of course, that is the realm. But we don't have to look so far. We can see hell, not really hell being, but the suffering in on earth. So look at this picture, this forest fire, which is now so frequent. It's happening every year in California. And imagine if you are an animal in that forest. So that is also kind of a hot hell suffering. And then in Minnesota, we live in Minnesota, it's cold weather. How many people are living outside? Those homeless people. When temperature goes down minus something, I'm talking about Celsius. Like yesterday was it 14 degree, minus 14 degrees Celsius? So imagine, I don't feel it because I have a heater in my apartment. But those who are on the street, who lives under that thin plastic tent, it must be so cold. So if you cannot think, if there's a blockage when we talk about hell and all this, so imagine that, think of these situations where people, human beings, are experiencing the same kind of suffering. Similar, let's put it, similar kind of suffering. So you say, if we now go back on our words, it says that, what kind of rebirth shall I take? And the rebirth will be in lower realms. So now, first is the reason, the consequences of not keeping our vows, not keeping our promise. So now it is providing more supporting reason. Ngobu pewa chungse lang yiji chimbar sam che ne 미강 침바라 미제바 태양 이다 규르송나 라나메베 대와라 삼바타베 전예르네 로와 탐제 루체나 덴도르치가 로주람스. So if it has taught, if Buddha has taught, that he who does not give away the smallest thing he once intended to give will take rebirth as a hungry ghost. So in sutras, Buddha has taught that if you don't have to verbally say that I will give you, but even just thinking, even if you have just decided in your mind that, okay, I will give this to this and that. But if you change in the end, if you do not give what you intended, even though the other person doesn't know that you are planning to give, but still it says you have decided, but you change your mind. Even when you do that, it says the smallest thing he once intended to give will take rebirth as a hungry ghost. So Buddha has said that even when you do that, one will be born as hungry ghosts. The consequences are so severe. If in making just intention and going against that can lead a person to be born in the hungry ghost realm, then it says, then if I should deceive all, so the consequences should be far worse, because in our case, not only we have conceived that intention, not only we have decided mentally, but we have vowed, we have made the pledge loud and clear. So if I should deceive all beings after having sincerely invited them to the unsurpassable bliss, shall I take a happy rebirth? No way. So is providing a reason. Buddha has said this. If you just have this mind, if you intended to give but change your mind, then you will be born in hungry ghosts. If it is the case, then when we openly make the pledge, then it will be far more detrimental. 미강 천주 셈땅양 대다 타버른 제바니 레주 섬지 미협데 탐제 캠바 권에 켄스. Only the omniscient can discern the manner of the action of those who give up the awakening mind but are freed. It is beyond the scope of ordinary thought. So there is an argument after this. So there is this story that Shariputra, so during one of his past lives, Shariputra was born as someone called Dawe. He was then a Bodhisattva, really engaging in the Bodhisattva practice, and already quite advanced, in an advanced stage, and already engaging in the practice of giving one's own body. So there was this what we call evil who wanted to wanted to create obstacles, hinder the Bodhisattva's practice. So that evil appeared in front. Came to beg for Shariputra's hand, the right hand. At that time, of course, Shariputra is known as the Dawe, Bodhisattva Dawe, the moonlight, and asked for the Bodhisattva Davu's right hand. So in order to give the right, so at that time the Bodhisattva, that Bodhisattva, has no hesitation. So he started to cut his hand, arm, let's put it at his arm. This is a bit difficult for us to digest, but that is the story in the sutra. And he cut his right arm and give to that person. But that person refused to take it, and he says that you gave it with your left hand, because when the person asks for the right, of course you have the left hand to cut and give it. So in India, giving with left hand is considered bad because they use this for other purposes. Instead of using toilet paper, so they use this to clean their bottom. So took it as insult and rejected. So that really discouraged this Bodhisattva, and it felt that it is so difficult to please all sentient beings, so difficult to help all sentient beings. And because of that, the Bodhisattva, what do you call, forsake Bodhichitta. But then Shariputra is known to have achieved arhatship or arhathood, became arhat. So the question is, how come? If forsaking bodhicitta, earlier it says that it is so detrimental, the consequences were so severe that one will be born in lower realms, then how come Shariputra, even after forsaking bodhicitta, has achieved arhathood? So Shantideva did not provide any answer. It says that only the omniscient can discern the manner of the action of those. It says only Buddha will answer this, because the way karma works is so, what do you call? That's what others say, isn't it? God works in a mysterious way. So here it says karma works. It is very hard to explain each and every detail. For example, why peacock's feather has so many different colors. But if Buddha were in front of us, and if we were to ask that question, if we were to put forward that question, Buddha would have explained that yellow color is because of that, and that pink color is because of that, that green color is because of that. But only Buddha's wisdom would know. So Shantideva does not provide answer to that. Teni chanju semba la tungwen nang na chiwa te, didar deni chungyur na simjin kunji tuanla mens. So now Bodhisattva Shantideva is saying that forsaking bodhicitta mind is so detrimental that it will hinder one's goal to serve sentient beings, one's goal to help sentient beings. This, for a bodhisattva, is the heaviest of downfalls. For should it ever happen, the welfare of all will be weakened, because when you forsake, when you give up bodhicitta, you will no longer work towards achieving enlightenment, or you will no longer pursue for others' benefit. So that's how it hinders our intention to help other sentient beings. Kangshin Kijik Zamyang Ti Sunam Parje Kangshin Kijik Zamyang Di Sunam Parje Geg Cheba Simjin Tuanla Menjurbe Ti Yentur Mutames. So you're saying that it is the consequences of forsaking Bodhichitta is detrimental. It is so severe. But even what is even more severe is hindering other bodhisattvas in cultivating merits. He says, and should others for even a single moment, if one does it for a longer period of time, not to mention the severity of the consequences, but even for a single moment, hinder or obstructs his wholesome deeds. This is very prone, we are prone to doing this because we don't know who is Bodhisattva and who is not. If we hinder or obstruct somebody from doing a virtuous action, if that person happened to be a Bodhisattva, it is very dangerous. By weakening the welfare of all, why it is so severe is because when you hinder the good work of a Bodhisattva, it weakens the Bodhisattva's chances of achieving enlightenment. As a result, it will affect the Bodhisattva's action in helping sentient beings. By weakening the welfare of all, there will be no end to their rebirth in lower states. So we have to be very, very careful when we are dealing with this. Is same with the anger. Remember we discussed this before. We don't know who is Bodhisattva and who is not. If we become angry at a Bodhisattva, we know that it destroys. Just one moment of anger can destroy the merits that we have accumulated for eons. Thousands of eons, it says. Gyaba tongdo sawa is. Kanjir kese namla choba chindan timjung gyabara kya sawa keji kinjum deyi chereres misurleshin tikba yomayins. So it's similar to this one. So we have to be very careful. Especially if we anger someone, that's also hindering. By weakening the welfare of all, there will be no end to their rebirth in lower states. Simjin chigi tewayang shigna tani nyamgyuruna namka malu talebe lujin teshik mu chi kus. So this one is now providing reason why this is so severe. If my being is impaired by destroying the joy of even one creature, then what need is there to mention destroying the joy of creatures vast as space? So if we destroy a joy of one person, if we consider that to be severe or bad, then it says that destroying the joy of countless creatures or beings is definitely, the consequences is definitely very severe. Destroying the joy of creatures was a space. So this is, I think it's like the vaccine at the moment at the moment our refuge is vaccine. So let's say if they are developing this vaccine and somebody destroys that formula, it will be considered really, really severe, because that vaccine formula has potential to protect and help countless, not countless, let's say, 7 billion people. So when we destroy the virtue of hinder or destroy the virtue of a bodhisattva, then it is like hindering the bodhisattva's health in reaching to sentient beings. So it is like the vaccine is like the bodhisattva. So if we destroy that bodhisattva, if we hinder, if we do something something damaging to that bodhisattva, it is like doing something damaging to the vaccine. Okay, shall we check it? Okay, I think we will stop here. It's already almost time, and we will stop here and we will say the dedication prayers. Tagi jinyi zawe gyawa de tendan drowa kunla kangben dan kewara chuzun lozan taba ye tenbe nyingbu ringdu seje sho. Jambe bayu jedara jimba dan gundu sambu teyan teshendo teda kungi jesu talo je gyawa deda tamje rabdu ngo tuzun shekbe gyawa tamje ge. Ngowa kala chodo ngaba de tage kewe zawa digun jan sambu chuji rabdu ngowara kis. Okay, thank you.